The moon is almost full. Come on, why is this? There we go. This is Moon TV. 97% full moon on Thursday, August 7th. I thought I'd start by reading some poetry. Carl Sandburg. I wonder. Welcome, Hazel. Welcome. There's the moon. I'm going to read a poem or two here. These are harvest poems. Carl Sandburg is an American poet who was born in 1910, and he passed on in, I think, 1960. Or actually, he was writing between 1910 and 1960. I thought he was older than that. For some reason, I thought he was born in 1890. That actually makes more sense. Okay. Name us a king. Name us a king who shall live forever. A peanut king, a potato king, a gadget king, a brass tack king, a wallpaper king with a wallpaper crown, and a wallpaper queen with a wallpaper jewels. Name us a king so keen, so fast, so hard, we shall last forever, and all the yes men square shooters telling the king, okay, boss, you shall last forever and then some, telling it to an onion king, a pecan king, a zipper king, or a chewing gum king. Any consolidated, amalgamated, syndicated king listening to the yes men telling him he shall live forever. He is so keen, so fast, so hard, and okay, boss, who shall never bite the dust, never go down and be a sandwich for the worms like us, the customers, like us, the customers. Welcome, Mama Sushi. It took me a little while longer to get on, but there's the moon there, and I'm reading some poems from Carl Sandburg, and if I remember right, Carl Sandburg, I was for sure he was born in the later part of the 1800s. I think like 1890 or something, but he was an anti-war poet for the most part. Let's see what it does say about him here. And, you know, with the style of Walt Whitman, he wrote free verse poetry for the most part. I do have a collection of Walt Whitman poetry, or the American poets, that I can dive into sometime. Jacqueline Barros, welcome. Welcome. We have Moon TV tonight. That's moon and poetry. It's cold out here, though. 1928. I don't. This probably does say in this book when he was born. Let's try another poem, because this is like a moon. Harvest is like a moon thing. All right, here's this one. Men of science say their say. The men of science say their say. There will be people left over. Enough inhabitants among the Eskimos, among jungle folk, dozens and dozens of moons, denizens of plains and plateaus, cities and towns, synthetic miasma mist, enough for a census, enough to call it still a world. Though definitely, my friends, my good friends, definitely not the same old world. The vanquished saying, what happened? The victors saying, we planned it so. If it should be at the end, in the smoke, the mist, the silence of the end, it should be one side lost, the other side won. The changes among these leftover people, the scattered ones, the miasma mist, the programs of living, the books and music, there will be simple and conclusive in the ways and manners of the early men and women, the children having playroom rulers and diplomats finding affairs less complex, new types of cripples here and there, and indescribable babbling survivors listening to plain scholars saying, should a few plain scholars have come through as after other wars, the peace is something else again. Amid the devastated areas and the untouched, the historians will take an interest finding among the ruins and shambles and tokens of contrast and surprise, testimonies here curious, these their monstrous nuclear fission corpses having one face radioactive cadavers, another look bacteriological victims. Moon gazing and reading poetry is what we're doing here, and this poem is not quite done yet. Synthetic? A blunt here would be nice. Well, I guess if you got a blunt, you can go have a blunt. I'm just here watching the moon, reading a few poems from an American poet. Oh, your phone is about ready to die. All right. Scenes and outlooks, nevertheless surpassing those of the First World War and those of the Second or Global War, historians will take an interest, fill their notebooks, pick their way amid burned and tattered documents and say to each other, what the hell? It isn't worth writing. Posterity won't give a damn what we write. In the Dark Ages, many there and then had fun and took love and made visions and listened when voices came then and now, the unafraid then and now. What if I am dropped into levels of ambiguous dust and covered over and forgotten? Have I in my time taken worse then as now? What if I am poured into numbers or the multi-industrious sea and sunk in massive swarming fathoms? Have I gone through the last year and the year before? In either dark age or renaissance, have there been the immeasurable men, the incalculable women, though their outlooks timeless? It is admissible, he threw an excellent laughter. His flagrons and oxen and ovens were made him a name. A plowman, it is permissible, he made sad, lovable songs out of stubborn land, straw, and hoe handles, barefoot folk treading dirt floors. Should it be dark ages? Dark ages. Dark ages. The immeasurable men, the incalculable women. All right, let's go do some of my own poetry. This is from a year ago. 419. Let's see. Yeah. We'll just read this one instead. Looks like the poetry chased everybody away. So the dope, you get it, you were confused. Yes, poetry is confusing. Poetry is confusing. It would be nice if we had a blunt here. It's good for you. My phone is going to die. Weird phone, never mind. Moon gazing and poetry reading. Angela, look at the sky. It's happening, what's happening, it's happening, what's happening. Oh, so bright in the sky. Oh, so bright in the sky. Hazy, hazel dogs bark, howl at the moon. Howl at the moon, so pretty tonight. Howl at the moon. Oh. Oh. Go outside right now. Look up at the sky. Look up the moon and howl. Get in touch with your primordial self, your inner wild child. Look at the sky and feel your ancestors speaking through you. Look up at the sky and feel your ancestors singing in you. Oh, 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 who, how at the moon. Is this the before, when sin and salvation haven't been conceived, and innocent babies wait their turn to be born into a purgatory of gloom, where anti-brilliant beings clothed in blood and flesh sing without stopping? A din that trumpets through barriers of runaway train highballs, a flash fire mapping the path from flame to pain in a war of unspoken laws, like Nazis marching on Poland, where their guns are not as brutal as the broomsticks they combat. Bristles camouflage the phallic end, longing for a better life, beholden to money and painted women who carefully arrange love letters and sharp tin cans in a dead man's shoes, like the blind man identifying a child in a cosmos where someone is watching and God doesn't look like anyone you know. My father thought he was an Indian. My father thought he was an Indian. My father thought he was an Indian. He memorized, "I will fight no more forever," and lame deer, seeker of visions, he would bang out lines from them. Square is the dollar bill. Square is the white man's house. Square is the door that shuts people out. Round is the teepee. Round is the sun and the moon. Round is the red man's fire that welcomes people to eat. I use boars my father milled when he was younger than I am now to build a hothouse for my chili peppers, my plants, It is like a long house native Oregonians lived in through long winter months before white man forever changed their lives. At the Indian casino where I am employed, people ask if I'm tribal. I tell them no, thank them for the compliment while I change their square dollar bills into round coins. Let's find another poem. I've written lots and lots of poems in my life. This one's titled Independence Day. It is a lot of my poems that I've been reading tonight. Not the Carl Sandburg ones, but my own were using the William S. Burroughs sort of cross-out method. William S. Burroughs was an American poet who perfected collage poetry. Of course, he wasn't the first one to do collage poetry or cut-up poetry or cross-out poetry. This style of writing is very old. It goes back to the printing press, maybe even before there was a printing press. It is taking existing elements and rearranging them into something new. It's kind of like what ChatGPT does. It's kind of what AI does. It takes the amass of human knowledge, everything that we've learned so far, and rearranges it into something new or something old. That's what AI does. The AI that we have built to this date, that's what it does. It is essentially doing cross-out poetry. William S. Burroughs was a beat poet from the 1950s. And this style is a style of writing that I do, and this poem that I'm reading next was written in that style of writing. It is titled Independence Day. My brother and I were raised to be Republicans. Our mama, she was a Christian. She centered on gypsy dreams. Our mama wanted the ways of wildness, to wander and to roam. She said that people in America get sick because they live their lives in ignorance. My brother and I were influenced by the Mormons. We heard men call young girls whores. We heard the preachers who said it was right. My brother and I used to sneak into each other's houses to talk our doubts and what we really believed. Let's turn it back to the moon. Moon TV over there. Let's make it, can I make it bigger? Bigger in the sky. There it is. Bigger in the sky. Moon TV in the sky. Salty waters flow inside me. Salty waters flow through the trees. Hello, moon. Goodbye, sun. Salty waters flow by the sea. Taffy and Daffy. Saltwater taffy gumming up my mouth. Watering watermelon tastes. Taffy. gumming up my mouth, pulling the fillings out. Taffy, made by the sea, from waters salty, warm, and sugary. Hello, moon, we're going to sleep. It is weird out, the moon is so bright. The haze in the sky, the moon, the moon, the moon. A little light in the sky. Deer find their way at dark. When the moon is out, they feast in people's gardens while they sleep. The moon is bright tonight, bright enough to read poetry by the sea. Moonlight reflecting on water, dark waves, bioluminescent plankton, excited by the photons bending around the earth, the photons bending around the earth, the photons bending around the earth on the night side tonight. Oh moon, tell me how you swoon for me, for you. Oh moon, the stars are bright tonight. Oh moon, I can see outside. Oh moon, I can see. Oh moon, can you see? Oh moon, oh moon, oh moon. I need to go to sleep really soon. The moon, soon, the moon, soon. Get hitched or say bingo. Get hitched or yell bingo. A round burlesque dancer insulated herself from reality inside a lunch box. She said the O was silent in panic. On a webcam, no one can touch her. She likes it that way. It padded her purse better. The end result of doing poetry in April, she said, was a 40-second montage on Bill Gates straddling a vulnerable nymphomaniac at a casino bingo bash, expressed in 2 volumes of pain. Before I, 16, N33, said G was 47,069. Bingo. What else is there today on Moon TV? It's cold outside. Bingo, bango, LOL. Bingo, bango, LOL. You like the cold? Yeah, fall is coming really soon. It's cold out. Bingo, bango, LOL. Let's see, is there anything in this book that's good? I don't know, it's all first draft stuff. Huh. I don't know. I think we're just gonna stop with the poetry and the making stuff up on the spot. Bingo, bango, LOL. Cold, bold words. All right. You sleep. I'm just kind of being at peace right now, thinking over the day and how good it was. And I got to speak with my friend who was just diagnosed with cancer. We spoke for about an hour. It was good. Anyways. You know what? I haven't got anything else for you guys. I could go on and wax poetically for a while longer. But it's cold out. And there's the moon again. The moon in the sky. So bright, so bright. Yay, yay. Let's go say yay, yay. Let's go say hey. Good night, and thank you, Mama Sushi. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you, Synthetic. Thank you, The Dope. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, Elsie, Shirley. Thank you, everyone else who came in to say hello. Thank you. The moon is bright tonight. I can sing very badly at the moon. I sing badly at the moon. Barking at the moon. Like that song. Oh. Oh. Woo. Woo. Hoo. 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 And that just reminds me of a Honeymooners episode. I've seen that bit, this one bit replayed on, even on Frasier. With it's the nobody's listening, but that's okay. I'll tell the story, and then I'm gonna hit the off button. And Ralph Crandon got moved to the graveyard shift, and he's like sleeping during the days, and he's trying to sleep during the days, but then there's people doing all kinds of day stuff, and he can't get to sleep. And then down the hall, somebody's like practicing a trumpet, and then you hear like there's somebody going up the scale, do 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 do, and then you hear like he's storming up and storming down the hall, and then you hear the horn go boom boom like that, and then a big bang, and then he comes back, and then how frazzle dazzled he was for being on the graveyard shift. Well, the same thing happened. They reused that bit on Frasier, the original Frasier, not that reboot of the Frasier. and there was a woman who came over and accidentally slipped and fell in his kitchen and broke her leg, but she kept on like threatening to sue or something like that, and so he's trying to appease her so she won't sue, and then he has no life, and because she's there staying in his house, and then practicing the trumpet and other such things, and just keeping him just driving him absolutely bonkers. But anyways, you don't really care about that. But unless you're a person who was a fan of the Honeymooners, and the Honeymooners was great. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. We'll see you the next time. Bye-bye. Let's go flip it over to that moon one more time. There's that good moon there. There's the moon. I'm just all brightened in the sky. Moon TV. MOON spells moon. Good night.